Hey everyone, it is Callie with Bookshelf Banter, and I am here with a new review and also some posters. I'm hoping that you're getting these, but if you have not heard of the Matched Trilogy, where have you been for the past few years? This is a trilogy by Ally Condie, and it has finally come to a conclusion. We are so excited about this book. I say we, and then I know the other girls are because they're actually going to be reading it if they already haven't read it because it came out last week. I got an early copy of it and I actually read it a couple of weeks ago and have been just consumed with holidays and of course all of the Twilight stuff, and I haven't put up my review. And so now I am putting it up. I have read Reached. This is, of course, my copy. It's not as pretty as the actual cover, which is here. And it's the third book in the series. And you need to read Matched, which is the first book, Crossed, which is the second book, to understand completely what happens in Reached, the third book. And I have spent so many years kind of waiting for these books to come out. When I read Matched, I loved it. It's dystopian. You're looking at this crazy world where people are sorted. People actually are born to sort, and they sort people. And it's crazy, amazing, this idea that Ally had. And as far as how the books have progressed, I absolutely adored the first book. And I loved the concept of this young girl just growing and learning and just becoming aware of what she's being surrounded with. And the thing is that, well, if you look at the covers, you can see she's got a bubble that she's surrounded by, and she kind of breaks through the bubble and becomes her own person. And you kind of get a glimpse of that beginning to happen at the end of Matched, but then you jump into Crossed and it happens. She breaks out, and it's crazy and amazing. And I have to say that now, having read all three books, Crossed is my least favorite of the three, just because there is so much mentally happening for the three characters, the three main characters, really the two main characters, and you kind of get a glimpse of the third, but I should tell you their names if you don't already know. There's Kasia, and she's just amazing, and I just, she's a good heroine that it's not like superhuman or anything, but she's smart, she's intuitive, she's curious, and those are attributes and characteristics that I love in a really good heroine. And then of course there's Kai and Xander, and it's so funny because you can't really get away from that love triangle idea in YA right now, and where it's typical in young adult fiction, I have to say that in this trilogy it is not necessarily at the forefront of the story. Kasia is, and Xander and Kai are kind of there, and they're growing too, and things happen, and I want you to go read Reached because so much happens. I'll tell you, Reached definitely gets 5 books on the bookshelf for me. It was action-packed. Ally threw in some twists and turns I was not expecting, but at the same time really appreciated and loved because the characters weren't, they weren't going through this ordeal for everything just to be tied into a pretty bow at the very end. Now, granted, there is a pretty bow at the end somewhat, but it's not as neatly tied as a fairy tale, but then at the same time it's not like messy and kind of thrown together where I feel like that the Hunger Games trilogy ended. And so it's a really happy medium. As a reader and as a fan of the series, I was completely satisfied. And at the same time, I appreciated the reality brought to the fiction. It sounds so odd to say it like that, but I just know that if you are a fan of dystopian, if you love a good love story, and if you really like a heroine that's got a mind of her own and uses it, you are really going to enjoy the Matched Trilogy. You're especially going to love Reached. This is all by Ally Condie. You need to go get it. Merry Christmas. This would be the best thing to get your friends, your kids, as far as having a teenage daughter or a teenage son, because I think it appeals to both boys and girls. All the books are out, so if you're like me and you don't want to start another series, this is the perfect series to buy because you can read them all, and you don't have to wait for the next book to come out next year. Perfect, right? 5 books on the bookshelf for each. And I think that if you're curious about the rest of the books, if you want to start from the beginning, you can definitely go check out our reviews on the website for Matched. It's called the Matched Trilogy. And, of course, the second book is called Cross. And I hope that all of you will go out and get this and really enjoy it. Like I said, if you love dystopian, this is a really good series to get into. We hope that everyone has a great day. We, as in me and the rest of the crew. And, yeah, I'll be back soon with another review soon. If you are interested in a poster with all of the covers of the Matched Trilogy, you head on over to bookshelfbanter.com, and in the first week of December, we're going to be giving away 3 of those posters. So look for it and go enter, and we'll see you soon. Bye.